Zotac here, welcoming you to Game 2 of the Zotac Cup number 169. And spawning here on Red City in the bottom left position, spawning as the Blue Terran, we've got Empire's Kas. And his opponent, spawning in the top right as the Red Zerg, we've got Team Acer's Nerchio. And if you missed last game, it was very interesting. Though it was short, it was interesting. As Nerchio went for an early Roach Zergling all-in, and the game lasted less than 7 minutes, and unfortunately, Nerchio was not able to bust the lone bunker in Kas's base. And Kas was able to hold on, defeat all the Zerglings and Roaches, and he took victory in Game 1. So Game 2, I don't know if it's going to be 7 minutes short, but it will be interesting. And this map, Red City, is a very interesting map as well. As if you take a look at a lot of professional matches, Red City is not in a lot of tournaments. And even if it is, a lot of players veto this map. They don't play Red City that often, and a lot of people don't seem to like this map very much. There are a few quirky things. For example, right outside the natural here, you have this small escalated high ground where you can put a few buildings or units there. So that is a little bit different. And in the middle, it's not entirely open. There's these 4 crevices. So units can't entirely get a good concave if there is an engagement in the middle. So Red City is a very large map. It is very different. A lot of destructible rocks. Blocking pathways and things like that. Lots of ramps. So pro players do not like this map for some reason. Kas is going for CC first again, as he did in the first game, and he went on the low ground, and he is doing that. He's doing the same strategy this time around. Nerchio going for a more conservative build instead of going spawning pool and extractor. He's going for hatchery as well. And Kas was not punished in the first game for his low CC build. A lot of players in professional matches will just put the CC on the high ground to prevent any early game aggression that might cost the CC. For example, if Nerchio was going to send a drone down here, and the drone attacked the SCV and destroyed it, or the SCV had to run away, that delays the command center significantly. So sometimes players will opt for the safe play, but Kas has gone for the aggressive play twice in a row. He's putting up a bunker to protect his command center that has just gone up. Nerchio's hatchery is also completed, and he's going to be getting 100 gas here. He wants early map control with Zergling speed, and he's going to leave 1 drone in there. Oh, he's not going for Zergling speed. Very interesting. Oh, yes, he is. There we go, Zergling speed. Kas is building a factory behind his first barracks. And this is something different. He's got 2 Zerglings going into Kas's base. He's going to be able to block it off. Kas only has 2 Marines in that bunker, and these 2 Zerglings are going to run away. No scouting information for you, Mr. Nerchio. So Nerchio is going to have to do it some other way. He does have an Overlord coming down the left side of the map, but it will take a long time before he can get there. And there are some important timings to take notice of. By about the 7-minute mark, you want to find out what your Terran opponent is doing. He could be going for Cloak Banshees. He could be going for a Medevac drop. There's lots of options for the Terran. But it looks like Kas is just going to go for some double Hellion harass. And he's got 2 barracks behind that factory with the reactor. Nerchio is getting his 3rd setup. He just started it. And with the double evolution chamber, that's a very good block. It's going to be very difficult for Hellions or any other units to get into the natural. So it looks like this is going to be a very big macroeconomic game. Stim packs are being researched by Kas. And it'll be fun to find out if Kas is going to go double engineering bay as well. Because with double evolution chamber, pretty quickly that's going to mean that Nerchio is going to have the upgrade advantage as his buildings are complete. There are no engineering bays up for Kas yet, so he will be slightly behind. And a Roach Warren is coming up behind this. +1 melee has just been started. Carapace should be... Yes, Carapace is now started as well. Kas is taking over the Xel'Naga Tower at the center of the map. And unfortunately, once that Roach Warren is complete, and it is now complete, once the Roaches start coming out, the Hellions are not going to be able to do very much. Roaches are very good against Hellions. But Nerchio does not have any Roaches currently. He has a whole bunch of Zerglings, and these will get eaten up. Toasted. There we go. Even in the fog of war, you can see the bodies disintegrate into dust. And this is interesting. Nerchio's not building any Roaches yet. He is supply blocked. And there we go. 4 Roaches are coming up right now. Being produced. The Hellions are still hanging around the center of the map. So neither player wants to be the aggressor. Kas does have his starport down. And he is getting double medevacs and starting his 3rd command center as well. And the Hellions are going to try and move out again. This lone Zergling is barbecued. And I really love the barbecue animations of the Zerglings when they go down. Great job by Blizzard. But here are the Roaches. One Hellion is almost finished off, but no, it's able to get away at the last moment. Resources lost show that Nerchio has lost 4 Zerglings. Not exactly unbelievable deficit. But money is money, and now Kas is going to move out. He's got medevacs and Marines coming out. Going to see what he can do here. But this composition, I don't really like it. He only has 1 Marauder in his army, and it's not even in this force. And Roaches, like I said before, are very good against Marines. Stim is finished, but he doesn't have combat shields, so these Marines are going to be a little bit extra squishy. They're going to engage at the 3rd. The Marines are going in, very aggressive, focusing, firing down on these Roaches. The Zerglings join the fray. The Widowmine has not fired off a shot yet. And the Marines and Hellions are doing a lot of damage to the Marauders. Oh, great hit by the Widowmine. It will do significant splash damage as well. But these Roaches are coming in here and doing everything that they can. And the medevacs are going to have to lift off, take all the Marines back home. Able to save 1 Hellion as well. So that engagement was pretty even. No clear victor there. Nerchio does have a 20 supply advantage. But that can be deceiving as Roaches do take up 2 supply. And so it's very easy for the Zerg to have an apparent advantage. But with the upgrade advantage, he's already got 1-1, and he's getting 2-2, and it's already a 3rd done. Kas, on the other hand, only has 1-0. So the upgrade advantage is definitely in Nerchio's favor. Kas is trying to go for a drop at the top right, but that's scared away by the Queens and Roaches. And another great play by Nerchio. He's spreading creep at the possible 3rd expansion of Kas. Great call. He's able to see the orbital command. He'll lose the Overlord, but the orbital command will now be delayed as well. So Kas will lose some mining time. He's constructing more barracks in the back. In the meantime, Nerchio is just amassing more and more units. He's getting centrifugal hooks for his banelings and also putting down spore crawlers in his main. I like this play. I like static defense because medevacs can do a lot of significant damage, and if you just build a lot of static defense, then medevacs can't harass your base at all. And the Roaches are streaming down in the middle of the map, able to see this Hellion. This Hellion's going to go bye-bye. And both players are on 3 bases, so Nerchio's going to have to go for an attack here and try and do some economic damage or get his 4th to counter. Zerg generally wants to be 1 base ahead of Terrans or Protoss players. And he's going to be morphing in a lot of Banelings. He's got 40 on the way. And his army has 40 Banelings, and these Banelings are going to do a lot of damage. That sensor tower might be able to detect it, but not before All the Zerglings and units are into the second, and these depots are down as well. And here comes the attack by Nerchio. He's doing a very, very wise attack going to the south of the base. Now the Sensor Tower is able to pick it up by the time, but it's at the same time the supply depots are there. And here's the engagement. All the siege tanks are very good. They're firing down on the Banelings. Marines and Marauders are stimming. Banelings get a few good connections. The Banelings are just streaming in here, getting lots of Marines, but the Marines are pulling back. Great splits by Kas, but unfortunately a whole bunch of Roaches are still left at the natural of Kas. Kas is going to stroll in here with all his Marines and able to scare away the Zerg contingent. And the Zerglings are being picked off one by one. So this has been a great engagement from Kas. He didn't lose that much. And if you take a look at resources lost, it tells a big part of the story. And the Roaches are coming in here. I don't know why all these tanks are just blowing them up to smithereens. Look at all those Roach corpses. I guess the Marines are going to be able to eat tonight. Nothing good, but at least they'll be able to eat. And these two Overseers are also going to get picked off by Stim Marines. So, unfortunately, that attack was squashed. And now the Zerglings and Banelings are coming in again into the third. The Banelings are going to be able to destroy that fourth command center without a cancel. So, I guess that's a small victory for Nerchio. The fourth command center is now being constructed again by Kas. But, once again, that engagement by Nerchio was not that good. He went down the south portion of the map and cut into the natural of Kas. But Kas had so many siege tanks and Marines nearby, and this area is such a small choke that these melee units were not able to do significant damage, and the supplies are 40 in favor of Kas. And like I said, the units lost tell the story about what's going on here. This is not the position that Nerchio wants to be in. He's trying to go for his fourth, but the two medevacs are able to see it immediately. The medevacs are going to boost away. They're not able to harass, as there are spore crawlers in Nerchio's first and third. And Nerchio's actually getting his fifth at the same time. So I like this play. He knows he's behind. He's going to have to take a big risk here, but his supplies have taken a huge drubbing. And two tanks are actually going to join these other two medevacs. Interesting. I haven't seen tanks in a medevac in a long time. Actually, they're going to drop on the high ground and they're going to siege up, but the Banelings get beautiful connections. And most of the Marines and Marauders are destroyed. But the tanks have enough range to pick off this fourth. At the same time, there's a drop going off at Nerchio's fifth. And one of the medevacs is fungled, but there's no anti-air, and this is one of the problems. And now there's another drop in the main. The spore crawlers aren't going to be able to pick it off. I guess this is one of the huge problems for the Zerg when they go for an aggressive ground build, as one of the expansions for Nerchio is picked off by siege tanks, is that you cannot deal with medevacs unless you have Mutalisks or Corruptors, and Nerchio does not have any. And so here's going to be a great engagement. The tanks are not sieged up yet. The Banelings are getting some connections, but overall the splits are too good by Kas, and now the Zerglings are going to have to retreat again. A great fungal, another fungal, two chain fungals, and these Marines should all go down. Zerglings are very good against tanks, so here we go. The tanks are all getting munched up by the claws of the Zerglings. They got nowhere to go. The tanks could be picked up by the medevacs, so the medevacs are not doing anything. They're healing up the Marines and the Marauders, and they're actually able to clean up this force. The resources loss has evened out quite a bit. And while all that was going on, Kas has been able to get his fourth up and running as well. Nerchio does have 5 bases, but they're not really saturated. And resources loss have evened out a lot, so has the supply. And Kas is going to have a counter-offensive at the top part of the map. Banelings get huge connections. 6 Marines go down immediately in the green ooze. And Kas is going to have to be very, very careful here. And the tanks are caught out of position again. They're not sieged up in the middle of the map, and the Zerglings are just going to munch down on this group of Marines and Marauders. The tanks are left behind. The medevacs pick up what they can, but there's 3.5 full medevacs. Actually, there's 2 now. And here's the fourth of Kas. The Planetary Fortress is working on those Zerglings, and they're able to do significant damage to Zerglings, so this Planetary Fortress should be fine. With 19 kills, 21 kills, this Planetary Fortress is being a boss, and the counter drop by Kas at Nerchio's third is doing significant damage. There's an Ultralisk that's cutting away at these Marines, and the Fungal goes down. Great Fungal. And another... And now all the Marines are finished off. The Ultralisk was also destroyed, and the Planetary Fortress of Kas was lost during all of this. So great trade for Nerchio, able to pick off a base with no loss of his own. Both players are not able to grab a significant advantage. Our supplies are fairly even. And Nerchio is going to engage Kas's force near the top left. A great Fungal, able to stop 10 Marines dead in their tracks. The Ultralisks are trying to get in there. Baneling Connections able to finish off half a dozen Marines, and now the Ultralisks are going to try to run away. Kas has to be paying attention because he is engaging on creep. There is extra speed for the Zerg units, but 2 Ultralisks go down immediately. The third is just barely able to get away. And now Nerchio's third is under extreme duress. The siege tanks are firing down. This war crawler is able to pick off 1 medevac all by itself. The Marines are trying to get back into position to have those siege tanks help, but there's too many Zerglings surrounding. Gotta clean those up. They're all finished. The Ultralisks are all being destroyed. The Marine Marauders are stimming in here, and Kas has built a significant supply advantage. The tanks are still in the back reinforcing. The third is still under attack. Nerchio's pulling all his drones away, and Nerchio's third is going to finally fall. There's so many medevacs in front here that they're able to heal up the entire army just within moments. And there's so many tanks behind this, and this is a really old-fashioned sort of Wings of Liberty play, going for tanks instead of Widow Mines, but it's very effective, at least in this case. A great Fungal goes down. The Ultralisk go in there and cut down on all those Marines and Marauders. Great Ultralisk killed. This one's already got 9 kills, 10, 11, but it finally goes down. The tanks just have too much firepower. And Nerchio is behind 50 supply. And now his main is, or his natural is under attack. All these Marines and Marauders with medevacs seem to be unstoppable. Nerchio's got to get some really good Fungals down. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. He only has 1 Infestor. And I don't think Nerchio is going to be able to do too much about this. And look at this high ramp here. Kas put some siege tanks on there, and then the Ultras have to go around to get it. So great move by Kas to pull the melee units up the ramp and then back down. Nerchio knows he can't do much. He GG's. So another great game by Kas. And now he's leading 2-0 in this best of 5. Nerchio did play pretty well, but he just didn't have enough Infestors for Fungal growth. And a lot of times when he did put down the Fungal growth, he didn't have enough Banelings or Ultralisks to do significant melee damage to the Marines. That's what you want to do. You want to put down Fungal growth, run in there with melee units, and because the Marines and Marauders cannot cut away, then they're just going to sit there and take a lot of beatdown. But in this case, Kas was able to win again. So Nerchio's lost game 1. After an all-in attempt, and he's lost game 2 with a large macro game. It'll be interesting what both players will pull up for the next game. So, can Kas sweep it, or can Nerchio force a game 4?